Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are taking a really hard look at digital deception. It's this invisible enemy, shredding trust in our work and personal lives. We're going way beyond just old school spam. We're diving into cybercrime that's incredibly effective, very professionalized, and it's targeting us right now through the channel we all depend on, email.
And we absolutely have to talk about this, the financial scale of this crisis. It's just staggering.
Yeah.
A 2024 report from ASA and FeedSci found fraudsters stole over $1.03 trillion globally in just 1 year.
$1 trillion. That's almost impossible to grasp.
It really is. It's more than the GDP of many countries. It's huge.
Wow. So when you look at that number, you realize, like you said, it isn't just about someone losing money here and there. It really is a global trust crisis.
Exactly. Every email we open now kind of has this shadow of suspicion over it.
Right.
Our dependence on digital communication, well, it's become our biggest vulnerability.
So, okay, our mission today is clear. We want to move past the basics, the stuff everyone knows about spam, and really explore the most financially damaging online crime out there. That's business email compromise, or BEC. We need to understand how these very sophisticated attackers actually operate, and then we'll look at the new, frankly terrifying role AI is playing.
And finally, the strategies that actually work.
Yeah.
The proven ones to help protect you.
Right. So we'll start by defining BEC, then get into how AI is making it worse.
Turbocharging it, really.
Yeah, turbocharging it, and then look at the defenses, both human and technical, that are absolutely critical.
Sounds like a plan. Let's unpack BEC first. Business email compromise.
Okay, let's start right there. The apex predator of email crime, BEC.
Right. BEC, sometimes people call it email account compromise, or EAC too. It's genuinely the most financially devastating online crime today.
Why is that?
Because it exploits our total reliance on email for business, especially financial transactions. It works because it never feels like a typical hack. It just looks like a normal, legitimate request from someone you trust.
Yeah.
But it's completely fake.
And the real-world examples really show how effective, how terrifyingly effective this is, because they often hit you during moments of stress or just routine, like getting instructions for a big transfer.
That's spot on. The FBI, they highlight these common scenarios. Imagine you're buying a house, right? About to close.
Yeah, stressful time.
Exactly. You're expecting wiring instructions from the title company. An email arrives. It looks perfect. There's all the right details. But the bank account number, it's fake.
Oh, no.
And your down payment, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's just gone.
That's devastating. Or the other one, the one that uses internal trust, that sudden urgent email, looks like it's from the CEO, maybe a senior manager, asking an assistant to quickly buy a load of gift cards for, say, employee rewards.
Right.
And email the serial numbers back immediately because the boss is in a meeting and can't be disturbed. The pressure is immense.
It is. And don't forget the vendor scam. A company you work with all the time sends an invoice. Looks normal, but there's a subtle change. An updated mailing address, maybe new bank details.
Oh, just routine admin, you think?
Exactly. You process it thinking you're just updating records, and boom,
Yay.
the money goes straight to a fraudster's account, often overseas.
And these aren't rare occurrences, are they? These happen constantly.
Every single day, the numbers are brutal. The typical loss, just for one business incident, averages a shocking $150,000.
Wow. For one incident.
Yep. And overall, between 2020 and 2024, the reported losses to cyber-enabled crime topped $50 billion. This isn't petty theft. It's high-stakes professional deception.
So how do they actually execute these? What are the methods?
Well, they mainly rely on three primary techniques. First, there's basic spoofing, using slight variations in email addresses, things that the human eye easily misses, especially when you're busy, like swapping one letter, John.Kelly versus John.Kelly.
Oh, I see. You just scan the name.
Exactly. You assume it's correct. Second, there's the groundwork, spear phishing.
The targeted attack.
Highly targeted. Emails designed to look like they're from a trusted sender. The goal is to steal confidential info, maybe just employee login details.
All right, reconnaissance.
Precisely. Information they then use to craft a really convincing BEC scam later on. It might just look like a password reset link you weren't expecting.
Okay, and the third method. You said it was the most insidious.
Yes, malware. This is where it gets really clever and scary. They don't just send a fake email out of the blue.
No.
No, they actually infiltrate the company's network first to gain access to legitimate internal email threads, conversations about billing, invoices.
Wait, so they're reading the company's actual emails?
Yes, so they can perfectly time their fraudulent request.
So they're not even starting a new conversation. They jump into a real existing email chain between, say, the finance person and a real vendor.
Exactly that. They follow the conversation flow, wait for the right moment, maybe when an invoice is being discussed, and then they inject their fake bank details. It looks like a completely normal inline update, something the finance officer wouldn't even question.
That completely bypasses the usual suspicion you'd have for an external email.
Totally. It feels internal, trusted.
Okay, this is where the arms race really ramps up, isn't it? The scams have moved past just typos. Now it's about visual tricks, context.
Yes, the sophistication is, well, it's on another level now. Really frightening. It specifically targets how quickly we process information, especially when we're under pressure.
Right.
The danger of lookalike domains, people call them cousin domains, spoofed domains, doppelganger domains, is that they often slip past basic security filters, and they exploit our brain's shortcuts.
We've known about typo squatting for a while, right? Simple misspellings like Netflix with an L.
Sure. And they got smarter with combo squatting, adding words to trusted brands like Microsoft-login.com, trying to fool you into thinking it's a legit sign-in page.
Okay.
But the really tricky one, the almost undetectable technique now, is the homoglyph attack. Yeah. This is where they use international character sets. They swap standard Latin letters for characters from other alphabets like Cyrillic or Greek that look identical, or, almost identical.
Like replacing a regular O with a Cyrillic O.
Exactly. So to your eye, reading quickly, Microsoft.com looks completely normal, but technically it's a different domain because of that one Cyrillic character.
Wow. That's pure evil genius. You'd never spot that.
You really can't. Not unless you meticulously check every single character in a link. And what makes it even harder, about 80% of phishing sites now use HTTPS.
The little padlock icon.
Right. The padlock we've all been taught means safe. Getting that SSL certificate is cheap, easy. So that visual cue of security, it doesn't mean the site is legitimate anymore. Not at all.
Okay, so you've got these visual tricks with domains, and now overlaying all of that is the big one. AI-enhanced phishing. This basically removes the last classic red flag we use to rely on the bad grammar, the awkward phrasing.
Exactly right. Attackers are using large language models, LLMs, to write phishing emails with perfect grammar, native fluency, the exact right tone for whatever situation they're mimicking.
Which makes them instantly far more credible.
Way more credible. And this allows for incredibly convincing customization, which is key for spear phishing.
So they're personalizing them.
Highly personalized. Referencing real details about your job, maybe a project you just finished, things about your company, stuff they scrape from LinkedIn, company websites, news articles.
They're weaponizing public information, making the scam feel specific just to you.
Absolutely. And you can see the psychology behind it in the data. We know the top 3 entities that attackers impersonate the most. They appeal directly to common workplace anxieties or just curiosity.
Okay, like who?
Microsoft is huge. Usually with emails claiming your account is expiring or your multi-factor authentication needs updating, that hits the urgency button. Access is critical.
Right, the panic. I'll be locked out if I don't click.
Then there's DocuSign. Emails asking you to review or sign documents. Sometimes they add nasty little phrases about termination or contract violations just to make you click without thinking.
Hitting the fear trigger.
Exactly. And the third big one, human resources. Emails asking you to review new salary plans or check your vacation allowance.
Pure curiosity. Who isn't going to click a link that says salary review?
Precisely. The attackers have figured out our psychological weak spots, and AI gives them the tools to exploit those spots with perfect, convincing language.
So if the tech filters are increasingly struggling with these perfectly crafted emails and lookalike links, we have to turn to the last line of defense, the human.
That's exactly right. The data is just crystal clear on this, the human element, involved in 68% of breaches. And somewhere between 80 and 95% of all breaches start with a phishing attack.
Wow. 80 to 95%.
Yeah, and the average cost to a business when a phishing attack succeeds, it's now $4.88 million.
Almost $5 million.
Which just underscores that training human behavior, that's the ultimate difference maker.
Okay, so let's talk personal defense. The FBI has clear recommendations, right?
They do. First, be really careful what you share online. Pet names, schools you attended, birthdays. Scammers hoover up that personal data.
To guess security questions.
Yes, or just to make their spear phishing emails even more targeted and believable.
Okay, what else?
Second, and this is probably the most critical rule, never, ever Click anything in an unsolicited email that asks for verification or, crucially, a change in payment details.
Oh, what do you do instead?
You use a completely separate channel to verify. You have to call the company or the person directly. Use a phone number you look up yourself from their official website or your records, not a number from the suspicious email signature.
Got it. Separate channel verification. What's number 3?
Set up multi-factor authentication, MFA, everywhere you can, and never disable it. It's your best fallback, even if someone does steal your password.
That's the firewall.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And finally, specifically for fighting BEC, verify all payment and purchase requests, especially any changes in bank account numbers. Verify them directly with the person asking, preferably by phone or in person, and be extra suspicious if they're pressuring you to act fast. Agency is the scammer's best friend. That's the single biggest red flag.
Okay, that's personal defense. What about protecting organizations, large groups of people?
Right, so this is where behavioral training comes in, and not just any training. Adaptive phishing training. It focuses on actually changing behavior, getting people to report suspicious emails, not just ticking a compliance box once a year.
And does it work?
The results are, frankly, astounding. Organizations using this see an 86% drop in phishing incidents compared to standard static training.
86%. That's huge. Almost 9 out of 10 fewer successful attacks.
It is huge. And the failure rates, meaning people clicking the fake links, they plummet. They get cut by 5.5 times. Yeah, falling from an average click rate of about 11% down to below 2%. And that's after just 12 months, even while the simulated attacks get harder over time.
That's impressive. What about speed? Does it make people react faster?
Yes, significantly. The median dwell times, that's the time between a malicious email hitting the inbox and an employee actually reporting it, becomes 1/3 faster.
1/3 faster? That sounds crucial.
It's monumental. It gives the security team much more time to investigate, to isolate the threat before it spreads, or for banks, less time for the criminals to move the stolen money. It basically turns employees into active sensors for the organization.
Active engaged sensors. I like that.
And here's the real proof it works. 2/3, 64% of employees end up reporting a real threat, not just a training simulation, within a year of starting this adaptive training.
So they actually become defenders. They spot real attacks in the wild.
That's the goal. Empowering the human firewall.
Okay, so that's great for companies. But what about individuals, people who don't have that corporate training set up? Is there anything new for them?
Yes, there's a new layer of personal defense starting to emerge.
Yeah.
Real-time verification tools. We're seeing things like the TrustCheck AI app is one example.
Yeah.
Designed specifically for mobile, aimed squarely at this new wave of super sophisticated scams.
TrustCheck AI, how does that work?
It's designed to counter that hyper-sophistication we talked about. The function is pretty simple.
Yeah.
You copy and paste suspicious text into it, or you upload a link, or even just screenshot an email.
Okay.
And within about 30 seconds, it gives you a risk rating, low, medium, or high. And crucially, it explains why in plain language.
So it's like having an AI expert look over your shoulder. What's it looking for?
Exactly. It uses AI to spot those subtle patterns humans often miss, especially under pressure. Things like emotional manipulation cues, claims of fake authority, those urgent calls to action, even potential deepfake artifacts and images that might be attached. Stuff a standard email filter just wouldn't catch.
Interesting. So it's a safety check.
An objective third-party safety check, yeah. But importantly, it's positioned to enhance your judgment, not replace it. You're still in control. But you get an instant expert opinion to help you resist that pressure the scammer is applying.
Okay, so we've covered defense, training, new tools. But what happens if the worst occurs? If you or your company actually fall victim to BEC, what are the immediate steps?
Right. If you realize you've been hit by BEC, there are 2 absolutely critical immediate steps. First, contact your bank or financial institution immediately.
Right away.
Right away, tell them what happened and ask them to contact the receiving bank to try and halt or freeze the transfer. Speed is everything here.
Okay, contact the bank. What's step 2?
Report the scam to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. That's ic3.gov. Again, do this immediately.
ic3.gov. Why is that so important?
The IC3 is the main hub for the FBI to track all cyber-enabled crime. Your report is vital. It helps them see trends, understand new tactics, and in some cases, especially if you report really quickly, they have recovery teams that can sometimes work with banks to freeze or even retrieve the stolen funds.
Yeah.
So timely reporting can be crucial for getting money back.
Got it. Bank first, then ic3.gov. Okay, So wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows that winning the fight against modern email fraud, it's not just about better tech filters anymore, is it?
Not at all. It's about combining that human vigilance, always verifying requests through a separate channel, like a phone call, with better adaptive behavioral training, and maybe these new personal verification tools.
The human is the main target, so the human has to be the core of the defense.
Precisely. And maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on.
Okay.
We know that right now, in 2024, only a pretty small percentage of malicious emails that get past filters are confidently identified as being crafted by AI. Maybe somewhere between, say, 0.7% and 4.7%.
Right.
Very small. However, the sheer volume of phishing attacks overall, it has exploded, up by over 4,000% since 2022, largely thanks to generative AI making it easier to launch attacks at scale.
Okay.
So here's the question. If the cost and the accessibility of these AI phishing toolkits keep dropping like they are, how quickly will that tiny percentage, that 4.7%, jump up and become the majority of attacks?
Meaning most phishing emails will be AI crafted.
Yes. What new defenses, behavioral and technical, are we going to need when basically every single malicious email you receive has perfect grammar, perfect tone, perfect context, when the old red flags are completely gone?
Yeah, that's a serious question about the future of digital trust. A lot to think about. Thank you for walking us through this. It's been really insightful.
My pleasure. It's critical information.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll talk to you next time.